Season 4 of Overwatch included the long-awaited new addition to the support roster, Lifeweaver. And while this new hero has a lot going for him, he also has his issues. And Blizzard seems to agree. Let's have a look. Hey guys, I'm Dames from the Omnic Post. It is a bittersweet time, especially for support players. We have been asking to see a new hero added to our very limited support roster for ages. And Blizzard listened. With the release of Season 4 early this week, we saw Lifeweaver added to the game. A very different support hero that has a unique way of interacting with his teammates. As advertised. The thing is, it might actually be a little too different. Now, I do not want to look a gifted horse in the mouth, but this horse kinda has a weird way of reacting to my commands. And it tends to kick other horses in the baby making parts. Often, and not always on purpose. Okay, before this gets any weirder, let me get to my point. He feels very clunky and rigid to play. And his kit is very loaded and risky. But you know what? Solutions are on the way. I'll talk more about that later in the video. But for clarity's sake, let's split this topic up in two parts. His controls and his kit. And for now, I'm putting a pin in his kit. Ow. I think I missed. Does someone have a band-aid? The main culprit in his clunky control scheme is the switch between DPS and healing. He uses the same system Torbjorn does to switch from his hammer to his gun, or Mercy from his staff to her pistol. Or is it a gun? At which point is a gun a pistol? I don't know. Now this scheme works for those heroes, because that hammer and that gun, or pistol, are for those hold my beer moments. You know, the mom grabs her slipper thing. It's a rare occasion that needs dedication and very little planning. It is a crime of passion. But that's not what Lifeweaver needs. He needs that Mora flow, where one hand giveth and the other one takes away. And you want to switch between those two really fast. So instead of putting that damage on the right click, they decided to put the platform on there. What? Look, I haven't played him much, but the number of platforms that I have accidentally spawned in the world, it's insane. And his dash is on shift. Yeah, that feels weird. I do understand, it is a self-heal, like Baptiste has. And by Baptiste it is on a shift, so but this isn't just a self-heal, is it? No, it is a dash that also heals. So it should have the dash controls for it. That's how our little brains work, for me at least. And I do not seem to be alone in this. Reddit users Sami Iseizo made a workshop mode that changes his controls around. And they put dash on the spacebar. You have to tap it twice. Double tapping will make him dash. Just like with Hansa. Remember him? See, that is something I can work with. And that opens up the shift button for the platform. At which point you have two abilities that are about controlling other players on your ability buttons. The other one being life grip, of course. That sounds perfect, right? I tried it myself and it plays so much better. Good job, Sammy. Now, I'm pretty sure that Blizzard has seen Sammy's mode, and Aaron Keller already shared on Twitter that they're looking into improving the control scheme for Lifeweaver in the coming days. Or at least that they'll be sharing info on it in the coming days. But let's be honest, they know what to do. They need to admit that this works better, implement it, and send Sammy a huge stack of merch. I really wonder why they hadn't figured this out by themselves. After all that testing, there must be a reason why we ended up here. And what I think happened is that they got lost in their iterations. That's how it often goes, actually. You start out somewhere completely different and you start to change little bits and you end up at a completely different place, but you forget to zoom out and to look at the complete picture again, which is a common mistake. In any case, that's one problem solved. Now the other one, yeah, that is going to be a little more difficult. That is going to take a lot of time and communication. But first, let me also get out of the way that they're also looking into Lifeweaver's general performance, and that Aaron Keller already tweeted that they might share some more info on adjustments, most likely buffs, in the coming days. I have to say, this is the first time that they have to buff a hero so much right after release. Usually it's the other way around. And I think that has a reason that ties into the second issue I have with Lifeweaver, and that being that his kit is super situational. Super. The most situational kit we have in game, probably. Maybe. See, some heroes will perform really well under certain circumstances. Those circumstances can be team composition, enemy team composition, and the location or the mode that you're playing, which are kind of all predictable. I mean, maybe not before you start the game, but 1 minute in, you basically have all the cards on the table. Lifeweaver's circumstantial benefits are way smaller, are way more nitty-gritty. They depend on way more elements. The flow of the actual game is super important. The positional awareness of the team, something you have no control over. And the second-to-second occurrences within your game. I mean, you could get as much as 3 to 4 game-saving moments with Lifeweaver in one game and underperform and ruin the play for someone else in the next 3 games. There's no way of predicting that. Well, if you practice playing him well enough and you have a good game awareness to start with, you can up your chances, and by communicating you can even double those chances. But it is never going to be easy. For most players, the extra value on top of his healing, because he is a support, not a healer, is not going to be obtainable. And that's why he feels like he's underperforming for most of us, because we are not unlocking his full potential. And to be honest, it's even worse than that. A lot of new Lifeweaver players tend to be an issue for the teammates. You can have the best intentions, but life gripping a teammate is always a gamble. Were they about to die, or did they have a plan and were they about to decimate the enemy team? And look, even if they were about to die, in a random team you're going to get yelled at. Because in the end, that life grip is kind of a weird experience. You are focused, you have a plan, and you see it unfold in front of you. You move in and suddenly you're 20 meters back, facing a wall, with a really tall man behind you offering you a rose. That is confusing, my friends. But you know what, we'll get used to that. And Lifeweaver players will have to be very smart about the way they play, or they will have to apologize a lot. Which isn't fun either, unless you're into that. And I'm not judging. Much. In other words, I see Lifeweaver becoming some type of niche hero. One where if players take enough time to properly learn how to play him, he will have a huge impact on all of his games. And bad players, they will be told to switch. Or, and that is a really possible scenario, they buff his healing so much that the other abilities just become toys for troll players. No thank you. Okay, let me interrupt myself here for a second. I recorded this part a little later after I played a few games with a Lifeweaver in my group. I did not play him myself because I'm waiting for that control scheme reader. Now, I have not changed my mind exactly, but I did want to clarify one thing. That even less experienced players can put his control abilities to good use. Occasionally. My point is, if you want to get enough value out of him as a support, you'll need to work really hard to master those control abilities. Because he still has a very low healing output. We'll see how that evolves in the coming weeks. And to be honest, I hope they don't buff it too much, because that makes him special. But you'll need to get to the point where you get more than just 2 saves. You possibly can be the one that steers the whole flow of the game. And I don't see most casual players doing that. Okay, let's wrap things up. Anyways, what do you think? Is Lifeweaver going to be that niche pick, or is this just a temporary learning curve? Let me know in the comments. Join me during my streams on twitch.tv/DamesTV and make sure to subscribe for more updates on Overwatch.